A very good evening, everyone. Jeremy here from Quant Strategic Singapore, and our weekly updates on the Straits Times Index is now Sunday, 13th of December at 9 p.m. Just an update for you. Nothing much has changed. The STI has been range bound for a couple of days now, and starting off with the monthly analysis, the downtrend of the STI still persists, and we had a short signal on the 1st of October 2018, and that signal is still valid. Price is now stuck at this monthly pivot point of 2813, which sits at this region right here, just at the Kijun line. All right, we must break above 2813 for us to hit our next target of 3108. All right, and maybe the Santa Claus rally, year-end rally, might trigger this move. We're still waiting. As of now, nothing is happening for the current situation over the past few days. And on the weekly chart, well, there was a nice long signal on the 7th of November with a target of 3108. Price action has shown a downturn. Price over the past 2 weeks has corrected over its effective highs at about 2920. And it seems that we are trying to test this particular pivot point at 2748, which is just above the cloud SSA line on the cloud. And we want to see price for it to continue its bullish momentum, test the 2748 level, and then bounce off from this for it to establish a sort of a beachhead here above the SSA line on the cloud on the weeklies for any bullish action to continue on the medium to long-term basis. So just as a recap, we had a long signal on the 7th of November targeting 3108. That is still valid, but we want to watch whether the pivot at 2748 holds for it to rebound upwards, or it may just continue to trigger down to about 2668, the next support level, before it hits a bounce. So we were watching the weekly charts very closely for the medium term and the long term uptrend. So for most of you, you will be using the dailies chart to see your trend. And on the daily STI charts, still looking pretty positive with a buy signal that was issued on the 4th of November 2020, targeting to 3108. And after hitting its initial high at about 2925 region, it has corrected and currently sits exactly at the Tenkan line, which is the yellow line over here. All right, and sits at about 2821. So what we want to look for in this particular daily's chart is to see price action move and bounce off from 2821 towards and test the highs at about 2925 region, and then progress further up for a Santa Claus rally. If that does not happen, all right, then we might break through the Tenkan line, okay, and then test this particular pivot, which is very important, 2767. All right, we need to test this particular pivot, 2767, and see what happens around this region once price is corrected sufficiently. If there's another bounce up and we have a bit of a bullish momentum going to the end of the year, which is in less than 2 weeks. But if we do break 2767, then we might test immediately 2742, and then this particular region on the cloud, okay, where you will probably test 2007 to 2675 area. So moving on to the chart that I use reference for all my trades is the 4-hourly chart, and as you can see, the short signal has been issued on the 30th of November 2020, having a target of 2767. which is the pivot point super trend line on the dailies. All right, that has yet to happen. We need to see the opening week coming tomorrow, how price is going to trade around this region here. We might just range for a little bit before we start to have some traction to the upside. 2875 seems to be a very nice target on the overhead resistance. 2875 to break above to continue the bullish run for the STI. Otherwise, alternatively, all right, we might see a pullback to test this particular region here at 2675. All right, so a short signal has already been issued here. All right, and we can expect to see a test of the downside area of 2767 and then a base of 2675 on the downside. All right, so that's for the 4-hourly charts. So as a recap, the Straits Times Index is still on a long-term downtrend on the monthly chart, which is long-term, and it's on a medium-term uptrend on the weekly charts, signal having being issued on the 7th of November 2020. The initial target still holds at 3108 if price action continues to move upwards on the medium term. And on the dailies, we still have a nice long signal that has not been changed or disturbed until we break the pivot point at about 2767. All right, the trend is still up, okay, for the dailies chart, but the 4-hourly, as you notice, there is a short signal issued on the 30th of November 2020, targeting 2767 to the downside. So what does it mean, guys, for this particular setup on the Straits Times Index? On a personal note, I wouldn't be trading either long or short on the Straits Times Index because you have a lot of mixed signals going on at the moment. Direction is very unclear. All right, what I mean is that you do have a downtrend on the long term. Okay, you have an uptrend that has not been confirmed on the medium term. All right, and this uptrend on the dailies, all right, has started to weaken a little bit in range towards the end of the year. All right, and on the 4-hourly, you have a short signal here. So I would recommend that you go long only if 4 time frames, as in the monthly, the weekly, the dailies, and the 4-hourlies are in sync. All right, then you go long. Unfortunately, right now, very mixed signals, very hard to trade the Straits Times Index for any of the component stocks of the Straits Times Index. All right, so caution is warranted for those who are holding the Straits Times Index stocks into the end of the year. Be very careful of this short-term sell signal on the 4-hourly, as well as the overall long-term downtrend of the Straits Times Index. Thanks, guys, for watching, and click on the bell button to get reminders of my next post, which will come out pretty shortly. Have a good evening and enjoy the rest of the Sunday.